You're now listening to the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Like a phoenix rose from the ashes, Garage Guy Chase is back. Welcome to another episode of the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast presented by Drip Drop ORS. And Drip Drop ORS was invented to treat dehydration in the most challenging circumstances. It's used by firefighters, military members, athletes, garage guys, NASCAR fans, NFL fans, soon to be. And right now, if you go to dripdrop.com, use promo code GarageGuys20, you're going to get 20% off your order. Drew, I'm back. It's good to see your face. It's good to see it.
Welcome back. I forgot that you missed the last episode because I've talked to you plenty of times over the weekend. So
yeah, I forgot we had a podcast.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
I covered it for you though. Well, I think I did a good job hosting.
You did. I got to check it out. Shout out to you for that. Shout out to Dalton Trigg for being an awesome guest on the show. That was a great interview you did with him, man. Getting to hear about him in the Cubester over in Dallas.
I think he might have him on again in the future, so that'd be pretty cool to see. As you can see, my back is hurting. Did you know that? Can you come pop my back?
I wish. Hold on. Let me try to walk this way. There you go. Nope.
Yeah, I'm hurt, man.
Maybe we should get Chef Girl to get a fake arm and hit, and that way we can make it look realistic.
I agree. I have to get her on that.
I don't know. I'm gonna send you something. I'm gonna send you a back scratcher and a cylinder block to just lay on it, and eventually it'll correct itself, or either break your spine, one or the other. Hopefully,
it's overrated.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get that fixed for you though. But yeah, I know you got a busy weekend coming up. There's some.
Do you think the back injury is going to impact the premium rankings on NASCAR? I'm starting to wonder if it's definitely a valid concern because I was worried with my shoulder after jumping off the 10-foot ledge at the trampoline place for children. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to deliver a great article, but by the grace of the universe, it happened and I was able to do it. So now, even though we're 2 weeks in and I probably have definitely torn some ligaments in my shoulder, I will say that by the grace of that, you will be able to prevail. So I'm gonna send the energy your way, but if it does get too bad, you have a valid excuse. I like that. Now I have my excuse if we lose. Okay, perfect.
All right, here's the card.
Got
thrown to you. All right, sorry, Garage fam, and any RotoBallers that are listening to this, you may or may not get them. So it's up to you now to go and on Twitter at Chef BoiRDeen and state your case for validation. So, and you have to follow him before you do it because he's not going to look at anything that is not by a follower. So remember that. That's the rules for the back injury. Okay. All right, so we're there. Look, Drew, it has been a week, and we've got a big show for this one. We got an interview with a tight end that we've been looking to get on the show for a very long time, Mr. James O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy.
James O'Shaughnessy, the man. That was a great interview. You guys will get to check that out at the end of this episode. But we've got a lot of stuff that has happened this week. Ball returned. And we had baseball return, and it's on the verge of death already. I think it was the Marlins-Orioles game was canceled because some players had COVID. So
yeah, a lot of good memes coming out about the Marlins saying the Marlins would be the team that's going to ruin it for everybody. So
yeah. I think it's dumb. Let's really talk about it. And by the way, guys, we're going into ball returning on this one. With NASCAR this week, we'll be back to our normal NASCAR stuff, as Drew stated on the last episode. There's no worries there. But you can catch our driver picks on the RotoBaller YouTube channel this week. But I just feel like it's a great time to just kind of talk about the state of sports for this one.
And we don't have the starting grid yet. Right. So
yeah, exactly. At this moment in time where we are, we don't have that yet. So we can't give you what we don't have. The time machine that we had with Corey LaJoie on that episode, it already broke. We're out of plutonium. Very hard to come by these days. You'd be surprised. But yeah, the Marlins would be the team to do it, man. Dude, I think Derek Jeter bought the Marlins as a joke, and the joke has since furthered. Marlins man's a joke. Just the Marlins in general, they're just, I don't know. Like, why does that team exist? Like, it was Tampa Bay Rays all the way.
The Marlins are on their own little island, and maybe we should just get a replacement team for them. I don't know. But no, baseball, dude, is kind of making Adam Silver look like a genius, getting a little more into this to serious talk. I saw where it was like the third or fourth consecutive week or second report in a row of 0 cases inside the NBA bubble, despite them being there for practice and somewhat of a mini camp. And they've scrimmaged now. Every team has scrimmaged a few times. So the strict policy with the mask and stuff like that that's going on in the bubble must be working. And, that just goes into a further discussion about what is NFL going to do, because I don't know. I don't think you can bubble the whole NFL, obviously, but you can. No. Maybe, dude, I think they need a front. They need to.
Can bubble wrap players.
Yeah, you can bubble wrap players. Definitely, that'd be incredible. But
I don't.
I mean, front load the schedule, right, with all the division games, is my opinion. Put all the, like, if you put the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, who am I forgetting? Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, all in a bubble, and you knock out all their games at the front end of the season, at least you're cutting your exposure down to 4 teams, right?
So, yeah, I mean, that would be what, 2 games? Like all for each team?
Yeah, so you knock out your first half of your schedule, and everybody does that, and then you're cutting your exposure down on people, have your own little bubble, and then that's just my theory. There's probably a lot of holes to it, but you got to move the schedule around.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to do it regardless. And getting into football too. I mean, with basketball, like I said, yes, Adam Silver, genius stuff. Super excited for that. Basketball's back, legit now. It's real deal. Like, it's here. Really excited to watch that. And also too, I think maybe Adam Silver bumps a little bit of Suicide Boys. Shout out to the boys. Got to shout out to the boys. Shout out to the boys, Skrim and Ruby. Makes your ears strong. Possibly. We don't know. But it makes – so if you listen to Suicide Boys, it makes your ears strong, because they're spitting strong truth and just heavy beats and just snappy flows. So Adam Silver's probably sitting back in his lounge one night and he's listening to Suicide Boys, and he was probably like, I need to put these guys in a bubble. This is the way. So maybe there's a connection there. Who knows? But it worked out. Same with hockey. Hockey's doing a bubble. It's an ice bubble. We'll call it a snow globe. They're doing a snow globe. All the guys in there.
Tweets about the hockey players saying that we all need to get the antibodies from the hockey players in our veins. Everybody can be a hockey player.
We could all line up, and then, like, what is it, Alex Ovechkin? Like, I would want his blood. That's the one, because that guy. There was an episode recently we had where I think we were discussing we're talking about Clint Boyer. With Corey, if Clint Boyer would have won a race, he would have had the whole 2-week span to party. And we were like giving comparisons, and the name escaped me, but Alex Ovechkin from the Capitals, that's the guy that went like 2 months partying like every day after they won. So, and then he's still alive. And he also is like the most grisly-looking motherfucker in hockey. So I want his blood 100%. So that's going to be what saves the planet. Alex Ovechkin. Shout out to Alex. NFL, though, I think, like, my theory about it would be this, is go to the cities where there's multiple fields, okay? LA is probably one of the only places I can think of right now that have multiple ones. New York's got a shared field. But LA would be great. You got 3 football fields in the entire state of California. And just don't do away with those fields. Or you suck it up and you go and hit up college football fields and you just have those games played at random college football fields across America. I think that would be the best way to do a bubble. So you could go somewhere, you'd have some, like, all your, like, Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night games, they're played in like a big arena, or big and flashy. But a lot of these other Sunday games, play them at college football fields around certain areas. And that would be perfect. If there's no fans there, what's it matter anyway? You just got to make sure the field conditions are good. And that's it. I think that's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, there's no telling. I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think doing the division bubbles would be a good idea. But honestly, I think what NFL is going to do is just kind of kick back right now, watch how these other sports play out. And I think we're going to see certain people opt out like we've already seen. I know that's what you want to get into a little bit here. I mean, who all has been opting out that you've seen is going to have fantasy impact? I know the Patriots had some very, very key players on their defensive side.
A lot of defensive players right now.
Yeah.
Has been the big one.
I know Damian Williams is a big offensive player for the Chiefs.
Yeah. So, they have Damian Williams, and then you had like a couple of the unspecifieds on here. I'm looking at this list off of NFL.com. What was it? Devin Funchess was a big name for Green Bay Packers. Yeah. But it's just like, it's Devin Funchess.
Yeah, he was a lot of people were calling a rebound year for him, but no telling if he even would have won that job, right? So
yeah, Nate Hamilton was big mad.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, took all the fun, punched you in the chest. Dun-dun.
Yes. So I guess it's another year of wondering if it's going to be Geronimo Allison or Valdez Scantling, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get off on the whole topic of Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, but dude, I'm hearing that Aaron Rodgers may just be like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna chill out too. I mean, he already broke up with Danica, so like it's like I'm a single man. I'm just gonna hang back at the house, fuck around on some Tinder, make sure my girls are wearing masks when they come in on the Uber. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Just kicking back, real talk. Marquis Goodwin, one of my favorite wide receivers that was nothing that I expected him to be like at all last season. He had just moved to the Eagles, so I was pretty hyped to see because, this dude chills with tigers and lions on Instagram like all the time. So like, this is the guy right here. He opted out, and if he opts out, that worries me because if you have the balls to go and hang out with tigers and fucking lions and you opt out because of COVID, then that's a scary thought right there, okay? So just throw that one out there. And then the big one that we had, I think the biggest one of all that we've had so far was running back Damian Williams for the Kansas City Chiefs has opted out. Huge for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like really, really huge. So it's that's definitely going to make the stock go up. But yeah, you got your boy Patrick Chung from the Pats. I know he's
Dante Hightower.
Dante, ooh,
yeah. The Patriots are screwed, dude. They literally have lost more than anybody.
What was your theory on if Tom Brady would have never left?
If Tom Brady never leaves, then any sign of those guys sitting out, he would have kissed it away. He would have kissed it out of them. He'd been like, "Hey, I hear you, Dante, but give me a kiss, and you'll think differently about this."
Mm-hmm. It's just like theory. As soon as like Tom Brady kisses you, like you go through this like interdimensional portal where like all you see is demons and monsters, and then you're frightened for life, and then he just comes back and it's just like, "I am the Antichrist," and then you realize it. You're like, "Oh shit!"
He somehow convinces them with the kiss that COVID actually helps their performance. Something like that,
Right, exactly. I can't wait till someone clips this and says on Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast, Garage Guy Chase states that Tom Brady is the Antichrist. That's coming.
Something tells me that somebody has said something like that before. If you think about his whole
probably career, Alex Jones. Probably Alex Jones.
Probably some like Bill's podcast.
You're right. 100%. Oh man. So, dude, yeah, NFL is just going to be weird this year, but I really think that, like, I don't see why more people aren't talking about, though. I think the best shot, I like your the divisional thing could be great and it could work, but you're going to have to eventually move out of that and go somewhere else. And I think that just like getting with college campuses, because let's be real, the SEC, I know this much, the SEC football, like they're only playing divisional games.
Yeah.
That's going to get kind of boring after a while.
Yeah, it will, dude. But I'm just thinking if that takes up half the year, for example, maybe in 8 weeks you have a 2-week break and then you get back to another bubble, or in 8 weeks we might have more progress on what this thing really is. I don't know, man. Just an idea. And one point I wanted to bring up to you, not related to the bubble, was, and I know we've already talked about this, how incredible this is for the people that wait to have fantasy drafts and how stupid people are for having them too early in the year.
Absolutely. And that's gotta be like the final thing that we talk about before the O'Shaughnessy interview, because that is the most rewarding shit ever. I tweeted that out the other day, just talking about how, like, this is why you have it a week before the season starts. Like, I have one of my longtime drafts that I've been in is set up that way. And I understand that there's a lot of people out there that when you play in some of these other leagues, like, the time constraints are different, whatever. It's all about priority and what league's most important to you. Let's be real. Cut the bullshit excuses out, everybody.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. I mean, I would be willing, before I would try to, like, make my schedule all perfect and stagger my leagues out, I would be willing to take one Saturday, like a week or two before the season starts, and draft all day for all my teams. I'd rather do that than commit to these early drafts, personally.
Absolutely. The only problem with that is, like, live drafts. Like, I'm a big live draft guy, so I like to go be around people, and it's going to be a little bit different this season because you really can't do that much. So it'll be adaptive. Have to adapt for sure, but it's adapt or die. It's the way the world's built, so you got to roll with it. But we're going to go ahead. It was good talk. Sports are back. New Hampshire NASCAR this weekend. Remember, again, go to RotoBaller YouTube page. Check out our driver picks. They should be up sometime during this weekend. And here is Mr. James O'Shaughnessy. All right, guys. We now welcome on to the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast. A long-time interview in the making. Jacksonville Jaguars tight end, Mr. James O'Shaughnessy. He's here. James, thanks so much for joining us, man. How have you been?
I'm good, man. I got to thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. Like I said, this has been a long time in the making. I'm finally glad I got a chance to get on.
Heck yeah, man. Absolutely. Before we get started in the interview, so with all of our guests that are in sports, we do something, Chef does something called Chef's Sampler. That's what we're dubbing it now. So it's some rapid fire questions. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Drew and let him kick us off.
All right. Sounds good. Wait, I got a question. Can I pass?
Yes. You can
pass.
No. But I
think that's against the rules.
They are very easy. I don't think you'll be passing, but we'll see. All right, you ready for this?
Sure.
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Manning or Brady?
Brady.
Office or Parks and Rec?
Toughest question yet. Office.
I like it. Marvel or Star Wars?
Marvel.
Beer or bourbon?
Bourbon.
Do it myself or delegate and manage?
Delegate and manage.
Money or influence?
Money.
Favorite sport to watch on TV other than football?
Basketball.
I like it. Favorite sport to attend in person? A lot of times we get hockey here.
I'm just getting into hockey. You said another sport I like to play in person?
No, to attend in person. It's like we had the one about
sporting
TV.
event.
Yeah.
Oh, hockey. I mean, I'm from Chicago, Blackhawks. I've only been to a couple. I'll go hockey.
Like it. Okay, and then here's the two ones I customized for you.
Okay.
College trash talk or NFL trash talk?
Oh, NFL trash talk.
NFL trash talk, okay. And then this is the last one I customized for you. Do you play Madden?
I do.
Okay, so in Madden, we had the hit stick and the truck stick, right? So if you were in real life and you could truck stick one person after you get a catch, who would that person be? And you can treat this as like somebody that you went to college with that's in the league, or you can treat it as somebody that you hate. So you take it how you want.
That's a good one now. My buddy Trey Roberson is now playing for the Bears. He was in the CFL for a long time. Shout out Trey. I'm excited to play against him. He was my college quarterback, and he's playing DB now. Now he's my guy. I'm not no hate, nothing like that. But I want to welcome to the NFL a little bit,
Love it.
I like it.
Nice. Well, that was Chef Sampler. You did a great job, man. You did good. See, no pressure at all. To start off talking a little bit about how we came to know you, James, and all the listeners of Garage Guys. Last season, obviously you see I'm wearing some Minshew today. It's the only Jaguars, I guess, apparel that I have as a Saints fan. So hopefully we can change that after this interview. We'll talk more. So we ended up, we talk about a lot of stuff in fantasy football, a lot of players. We break down the games. And there was a weekend where I think it was, I can't remember the exact date, but we were talking about Minshew and then looking at some of the players on the Jags, came across your name. And the way that it just said it, just the O'Shaughnessy, like the way it came out, I was like, this guy right here. I was like, we're keeping our eye on this guy. We did. You had a game. You ended up scoring a touchdown, I think, the next week. And you had a really good season in 2019 until the ACL tear. And I know you're eager to get back. But after that started, there was just this hype that built around James O'Shaughnessy with Garage Guys. And it stuck, obviously. So now having you on is huge. So I know a lot of our listeners are going to enjoy it as well. But going into college and NFL, man, we know that you went to Illinois State. That was your college. You went to the Chiefs in 2015. You had a short stint with the Pats, and then went to the Jags in 2017. Through the journey that you've had so far in the NFL, where has it been? Like what are some of the things that you've learned coming from like the college to the NFL world? Like some things that really stand out that were a big game changer for you.
Well, I had a unique experience because coming from a Division I AA, getting drafted, which I was extremely fortunate to get drafted by the Chiefs, and then coming right into a building, facility that's with an established head coach. We had an established tight end in Travis, who was just at the start of his stardom. So I got a chance to see when he got his second big contract, when he really started taking off. It was just a unique thing, and people always, I think the saying is, you're drinking from fire hydrant. And anybody who knows me, my rookie year, man, I was struggling. It wasn't as much the plays, learning the plays. It wasn't much the timing of everything, your days. It was the stress of it. It was a combination of everything. And I really just took me, I would say the Patriots is where I really kind of started to learn and come into my own, because after you get traded, which essentially to me is like getting cut. It wasn't something I wanted to happen. And having to reinvent myself, restart myself and reinvent myself with the Patriots, and then even getting cut there too. And I thought, I had a good camp. And, I had the ability to make the team. It was tough. It really was. But at the same time, I was fortunate because I went into an organization that was established for the Chiefs. I went to another organization that's, well known as being one of the best. So I, being around Kelsey and Gronk, I went to the playoffs my first 2 years. So I got a glimpse of what it's like to be a part of a winning NFL football team. It was difficult at the start, but it was a great growing experience. I learned so much. I can't say enough about those guys. And the funny thing is, everybody knows the Jaguars' history hasn't been great, but right when I got there, we were awesome. We were the baddest. Right. We were the baddest guys around. And to go to the AFC Championship game against my old team, the Patriots, was one of the coolest experiences. And then to talk about the mentors I had in Kelsey and Gronk, I came here and they had Mercedes Lewis, who actually, I always tell people, my maturation as a player, me growing as a player, I have to give him more credit than anybody else, because he was one of the first people to actually say, hey, you're more than a special teams player. You can contribute as a number one, as a number two. You just got to have more confidence and feel it out and just let it go sometimes. And ever since that year, obviously went to that's 3 straight years going to the playoffs, being with 3 straight playoff teams. It was it really helped me grow as a person to where I finally felt comfortable in this league that I could contribute. Because like I said, I come from Illinois State. I was always an undrafted guy. I didn't have any real – I had aspiration to play in the league, but I didn't take it as if, I was for sure locked to even get drafted. It was kind of the draft process was the last minute. The draft's crazy within itself, but my whole name kind of blew up in the last couple of weeks, and the next thing I'm getting drafted in the 5th round, and to me, I was like, oh, shoot, I thought I was, going to have to fight to get a job. And I still did, but it was just it was a whirlwind experience in my first couple of years, to where after 2017, I could finally sit down and be like, no, I can do something in this league. And like I said, I always got to shout out Mercedes, because people understand what he did for my confidence, what he did for, me. He's a vet of 13 years or something like that now. I'm not being 14. but he instilled in me like better work ethic, how to take care of your body, which is a huge thing for me coming from a lower school, not having those resources in college, and all of a sudden having all these resources at your disposal, learning how to use that, maximize that to the best of your ability. So I had a crazy first 3 years. Like I said, I went to the AFC Championship game my third year with the Chiefs. We won multiple games. I think either the first year we might have knocked out the first week, and then the second year I think we got knocked out in the second week of the playoffs. So it was just such a weird. I'm struggling, but at the same time, I'm figuring things out, and my team's winning. So it's a mix of emotions all around. It was a wild start to the NFL. Let me say that.
You got a lot of winning going on too, man. I mean, like you got that mentality right there. So I mean, like you talking about playing with Travis and Gronk. I know our boy Chef Boy over here, he's a big Pats fan. So I'm sure he was curious. I didn't know if you had any questions for him about being with Tom Brady or anything like that.
Well, it's funny that you brought up the Patriots because we did have a fan question that said, any crazy or favorite story from the short stint with the Patriots? So I don't know if you have like a Gronk story or maybe just a off-the-wall story about Belichick or anything that happened in that. You're about 6 months, right? Is that how long you were there?
Off season. So I got traded on the second day of the draft, and then I got cut in the final cuts. I got a couple stories with Gronk. I got a couple other stories about Brady, and all my experiences with Brady were unbelievable. I always say to tell people, in the NFL, everybody's talented, everybody's good people for the most part. But then there's an upper echelon of guys. I would say like Eric Berry was one. Just what he went through to come back and play, and the type of leader he was unbelievable. I put a Calais Campbell in that category, and I put Brady as three of the guys that stick out to me as just special people. Not just down to earth, not just talented, hardworking. They're the whole package, and I give a lot of. Brady was awesome to me in every instance he was. So I thank him a lot for my short time with him. But the Gronk stories, I remember one Thursday, after OTAs, I thought we were going over to his place to go hoops. And the next thing you know, I come back to his place, and there's like 30 people there, blaring music. All of his brothers are there, popping. I'm like, hey, I thought we were just coming to hoops. But that's just Gronk. Gronk's one of those fun-loving guys that, you invite the whole world over if you wanted to, and as soon as you do, it's a good time. Brady stories where, he was one of those guys where he was so great to you in meetings and so great to you in the locker room. But when it comes to the field, you had to be on your P's and Q's. And, he was awesome to me in every instance, but he also was very difficult too. He's one of those guys that demands greatness. That's what makes him so great. So I have a couple stories that I probably don't want to share on this where, it's probably getting
we'll get them off the record. Yeah.
That's okay. I have to ask a follow-up. I wasn't planning on talking Patriots, but one thing I wanted to ask you is, did you watch the Last Dance Jordan documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Is there something about Brady that's similar in the way he treats his teammates to Jordan? Do you see that at all?
Yeah, 100%. Now, I think Jordan might take things a little step farther than most, and I think that's what also made Jordan so great, that he demanded so much. He was so tough on people. He kind of had a different edge than Brady, it seemed like, but I don't know Jordan, so I can't really say that much. But he does have the same mindset to where, hey, when you're on his field and when you're in his huddle, you got to be ready you got to come correct. You got to really, up your level to his. And that's what everybody appreciates about him as well. And I remember, I got a story. I remember OTAs. First week of OTAs, I'm coming in late, so I'm trying to figure everything out. And, in every OTAs, there's usually a couple guys missing, usually big name guys. You expect, hey, they got family, they got this, they got that. Just, how it goes sometimes. Sometimes they don't need to be there for one reason or another. And I remember seeing Brady. It was like the first day I was out there. He's running in Skechers. Skechers. And he's, we're running sprints, and he's going balls to the wall. And I'm laughing. I'm like, man, he's, screaming on like a 40-yard dash type of thing. And I'm like, man, you just don't see a guy at his age, at his caliber. You just expect him to maybe, taking it easy, getting his feet wet, but not going too hard. Every time he was in, strength training, whatever it might be, he was focused and he was in it, 110%. And it was one of the things that I was like, wow, that's probably, that is what makes him great. And so that was one of my first introductions to like, man, he's a different breed.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Going from Brady though, going from the Pats to the Jags, I know they had Blake Bortles. You've played with Blake, and then also there's now Gardner Minshew.
And Minshew's kind of been where that whole the O'Shaughnessy Minshew connection deal that we were speaking of last night was going down last season. Ready to see that again. What's you got any good stories about like Minshew? Like, how is this man? He's a force of nature. I'm pretty sure that Drew and I were like the first two people talking about him from the moment that Nick went down in game 1. We see like this man, just the flow. Just out there, like on the sidelines. We have no idea what's about to happen here, but I'm just like, this guy right here, this dude's about to do some amazing stuff. And I never thought that like the whole Uncle Rico thing would have happened until like the next week when all that shit like piled in. Yeah. But now it's like, holy shit, like this guy is a real person and he's a quarterback in the NFL. So it's nuts, but I love the energy that he brings. What's that like being around him in the locker room?
Well, he's another one that in a couple of years I'll put him in those type of categories with the greats that I've been around just on leadership alone. Now, obviously he's got to perform and we all do. And, I'm not trying to say that he's in Brady's category, but as a person, he is a great dude. He's a truly good dude who brings everybody in, he grew so much in that first year. And I don't know if, probably didn't watch the preseason, but we had a rough preseason. Nick wasn't playing a lot, and we benched a lot of our starters to keep him fresh. So we had a lot of kinks we were trying to work out, and Minshew was thrown into the fire, with the second string O-line who was missing protections, and we're trying to hide our good plays. So it was, no one really – everybody liked him. Everybody knew he had a future. No one knew how good he really could be. And then that Kansas City game, I think he completed the first 13 passes or 12 passes, people looking around. And it was more than just that, hey, he belongs. It's like, no, he can lead. He can be the guy. It was a really bizarre experience because, like everybody, like I said, everybody liked him. Everybody knew he was a good leader. Everybody knew he had a future in this league. But not till he truly turned it on game day did people realize, like, no, this guy can be it. And that was a special thing because, that's a very tough thing to do in the league to all of a sudden turn it on. And he's just a true gamer. I'm not saying he's not a good practice guy or not anything else, but he is truly, when it comes to game day, he is locked in. He galvanizes a team, and it's a truly special trait he has because, like I said, he has the chance to be up there with those guys when it comes to bringing people together, motivating, galvanizing a team. He's an impressive kid.
That connection he had with, I guess, Coach Mike Leach. I knew about Minshew from college, and that just seems like quite a pairing, and I wish we could have had some of that mic'd up, even though we didn't. Is there any feedback he gives you on that connection with Mike Leach and how that relates to Doug Marrone? And is there anything there that's similar?
I know one thing. He has like some quirky sayings that I've never heard before, and I have to swear they had to come from Mike Leach.
Let's go. I want to hear him.
Remember a couple from – because, like, he said the one to me a couple days ago, and I was looking at him like, yo, I don't know where the hell you pulled that one. But, yeah, he's I know – we haven't really talked about his college days. I know I heard his story about came around 3 or 4 different schools. Saban offered him the coaching job, all this craziness. But everything with him and Doug is actually one of the most impressive things, too, because – he's not afraid to ask Doug. For being a rookie guy, he's not afraid to talk to Doug about, things that he feels like is better for the team. And for a lot of young guys, that's a difficult thing to ask the head man. And Doug's great. Doug's one of those guys where, he's a disciplinarian. He expects a lot from you, but at the same time, he'll sit and talk with you if you need it, if he wants to, if you want to. He's a good player coach as well. Sorry, my dog's walking in and around.
It's all good. Dogs are good.
I'll say hello.
What up, puppy?
I really think they are a great complement for each other where, they feel comfortable to not only get on each other, but also to have a great relationship. Those are the type of things that will spread out on a team and helps an organization like ours sustain winning, having two guys like that who are willing to not only, fight and get after each other, but also, hey, sit and put his arm around you and talk to you. So I don't know. I haven't asked him enough about Mike Leach, but I probably should and ask him more where he's getting these. But I know one thing, him and Doug are a great combination. Nice.
Getting more into you, I mean, we're coming off the ACL tear. We're going into the 2020 season. There's so much craziness happening right now with COVID. I know that camp started recently for you guys, and you also have a new tight end in the room with Tyler Eifert. Is there going to be some good healthy competition there, and what are you most looking forward to going through the preseason and getting ready for this season that we got coming up?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we get a full season in us. Obviously with you're seeing stuff that's going on with the Marlins, you get a little nervous about the chances of us playing a full 16, which I just pray we have a full season. I think everybody wants football. Everybody needs kind of something to take their mind off of with everything that's been going on. It's been a tough time, a tough off season for everybody, not just the NFL players. I can only imagine other people who are struggling through this time. People who are struggling with employment, all that. It's crazy. So I think the world needs football, and I actually just met Eifert for the first time. We obviously had virtual meetings the last couple of months, but we finally got a chance to work out together. And he's a great guy. There's always healthy competition in the league, and of course I want to be the one, and I know he wants to be the one, and chances are he probably will be because he's probably bigger, better, and tougher than me. But I really like the chance of us having a great working relationship. And for me, I'm one of those people. I don't focus on being the 1, 2, or 3. As long as I have a job that's contributing to the team, I'm happy. And I think we have might be the most talented tight end group I've been around between him, me, Josh Oliver, our young guy coming up. We got a couple other young guys. We drafted a guy named Tyler Davis from Georgia Tech, and he's been a great guy. He's been in my ear as much as possible, trying to learn as much as he can. So I'm really excited about our team. I know a lot of people have low expectations for us. I laugh because I'm like, some of the teams I've been on that – I remember my first year with the Chiefs, we started off 1-6, and then we won 11 straight. And people, everybody was talking about firing everybody in the world, the quarterback.
Right, all the hype.
Yeah, you don't know until you know. And obviously it's kind of made it tough with the whole COVID, not having OTAs, not getting that chance to really get to know everybody like we usually would during that time, get an idea of what the team is going to look like. But I really have a positive outlook on this season because I think we got, we have guys now that I truly believe are going to buy in and day out. And it's all led by Minshew in that. Like I said, he's such a great leader that he can bring those guys, keep them focused, keep us on task, even when adversity hits, because that's the key. It really is always the key is in a season. When adversity hits, what are you going to do? How are you guys going to handle it? And I'm excited for that aspect because I really think our tight end room and our offense as a whole has a chance to do something special.
Awesome, man.
I know I wanted to ask you this. I mean, I know you're kind of short selling yourself a little bit, but one thing you got going in your favor with you have that chemistry Minshew already established a little bit, whereas with Eifert, you still got to establish that. Not that he can't, but if you can speak a little specifically to how you and Minshew developed that chemistry, because, I think you had your most catches, your most TDs all last year, so that kind of gives you a leg up in a sense.
Yeah, it was unique. I remember playing in the preseason, and obviously Nick wasn't playing. And I know Nick. I knew Nick in Kansas City. He was actually the backup quarterback in Kansas City when I was there. So we were close, and I had a connection with Nick. But, Minshew's getting a lot of reps because, he's trying to protect Nick. So next thing you know, like we're in preseason. I remember I think it was against Atlanta or Saints. I had a skinny post, and Minshew threw right on timing. And I was like, oh, okay, hey, he's been seeing what me and Nick are doing. He sees how me and Nick feel. And he really, as the season went along, I would be in his ear and he would be in mine. And I will even take it a step further. This offseason has been unbelievable. Minshew's been here in and out of town. Obviously, he's got a lot going on. He was on the bus trip, whatever. But every chance he was, hey, calling me like, what do you think about this play? This is what I see, what I want you to do here. And we've been doing throwing sessions now for close to, has to be over a month now. Even developing more chemistry. And he did such a good job. He started like kind of a little 3-day mini camp for us about a month ago. We got the whole offense together, broke it up. So, obviously followed the CDC guidelines and all that stuff. But just so we could all, get on the same page. And like I said, Minshew will call me, he called me yesterday saying, hey, this is what I want on the skinnies. This is what I want on with the lean nods. And it's something that I cherish. He's also somebody too, he keeps me in check. Like, sometimes I get a little emotional. I get a little riled up with everything. He's
Nothing wrong with guys.
That. He's like, hey, James, hey, pick your battles, focus on what you need to focus on, control what you can control. And for me, that means a lot to me for somebody to instead of, it's very easy of him to be like, hey, James acting up, screw him. Don't worry about him. I'm going to, we'll worry about himself. Instead, he's one of those guys who called me that night and be like, hey, I think you need to, think about this some more. And he's younger than me. I'm a 6-year vet. He's a second-year guy. And for him to feel comfortable to say that to a vet is it just tells you what type of leader he is. And I can't say enough. He's been awesome, man. And I think we're going to have a real good connection because we did our homework this offseason. We really worked on it, even with all the troubles of COVID. We really got after it and trying to make sure that we were on the same page. Even I was limited in some capacity in the offseason because of my ACL. He's still, whether it be I'd be at the top of the routes, whether I'd just be, spot catching for him. I was bringing him to my gym that I was training at when I was in town so he could meet the quarterback guy I was working with so we could all, talk through ball and stuff like that. So, and I think Minshew's one of those guys, he can have that connection with anybody. If they choose to, let him in and he wants to let him in, you can have the best connection in the world. He's one of those type of players. So I'm really excited I really think we're going to have a special punch with me and Eifert. And Jay Gruden's offense is something I haven't seen since, my Kansas City days, a true West Coast that is expansive, difficult, and it's going to be really challenging for teams to play against.
It's going to be good either way because we're going to make sure the O'Shaughnessy ship is sailing fast all year long, man. Well, look, before we let you go, man, we appreciate it so much. I don't know if you remember me talking about this a while back, but last season I decided that going into 2020 I was going to start something called the Garage Guys Tight End Appreciation Club. Okay, so we were all going to get together at a Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to have our yearly meetings. We're just going to talk about just how great it is that we have a world where tight ends exist. So today I would like to ask you on the show if you would like to accept the position of vice president of the Garage Guys Tight End Appreciation Club.
Man, I don't know if I deserve that, but hell yeah, I'll take it.
All right. We have to do your oath now. So I need you to raise your right hand. All right, here we go. I, James O'Shaughnessy, do solemnly swear to uphold the values of all tight ends in the NFL.
Do solemnly swear to uphold all the values of the tight ends in the NFL.
To always be a friend to tight ends.
To always be a friend to tight ends.
And to share the importance of tight ends.
And to share the importance of tight ends.
Because tight ends make the world go round.
Because tight ends make the world go round.
All right, you're accepted. All right, let's get a round of applause. He's in.
We got to put James in charge of the hazing ritual, the next guy.
Absolutely.
Hazing.
I'll send you some bamboo sticks, but don't tell anybody. All right?
Is that still allowed? Shoot, man.
I don't know. Shh. Don't tell him.
And I remember my people used to get hazed all the time, and now I laugh. I look at these rookies. I'm like, man, they got it easy. They got no bad haircuts. All they got to do is buy us donuts every once in a while, and that's about it.
Right. Yeah, we got to switch it back up to him, man. We'll figure something out. We'll start working on that for you guys too. We'll get some new plans going, some new schemes. All right, man. Well, James, where can everybody follow you at, man?
You can find me on Instagram, JO O'Shaughnessy88. Twitter, I'm not sure what my name is on that. I'm not verified, and I don't plan to be verified on Twitter. That's kind of
we're gonna change that narrative this year. I promise you. It's at JO Shaughnessy 80.
Okay.
For the listeners.
I kind of like my Twitter to be a little low key, where I can like things and I don't have to worry about people freaking out or sending all over the world.
I feel you on that. Respect that.
Yeah.
Keep it unverified.
Yeah, right. That's Instagram's kind of like, oh, that's the showy everybody can see, and with friends, family, and my football life. Then Twitter's kind of like, oh, that's hilarious. I gotta retweet that. And stuff like that.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll keep it that way for sure. But man, thanks so much again. We look forward to having you back on in the future, and have a hell of a camp. And we're rooting for you out there, man.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. Thanks again, brother.
All right,
thanks, man.
That was the interview with James O'Shaughnessy, brought to you by RotoBaller NASCAR Premium Content. Use promo code GARAGE when you get the RotoBaller Premium Content. That goes for football, NASCAR, basketball, whatever. Use our promo code, and you'll get a discount, and it helps keep the lights on. So promo code GARAGE. Yeah, we them boys. Making noise. Do that. That's all we got for this episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, you know where to follow me, at Garage Guy Chase. Follow Chef Boy, at Chef BoiRDeen.
I like when you say my hashtag, not me, so I'll let you do it.
Hashtag AKA Drew Dean, hashtag AKA Chef Boy, hashtag AKA not Chef BoiRD, but Chef BoiRDeen. Yeah, big hashtag right there.
But yeah, that's all we got. So I'm back. I got to say it. Here we go. Last thing, sports, party, repeat.
It's the garage guys. 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 It's the garage guys.